Hey folks, what's going on? Late in the bass world. Here I am coming to you live. If you can't tell, my schedule is turned inside out here lately. And not only are we 2 days late, but we are time late too. So there's always that. Looks like we got a couple of you guys actually joining us though, even though this is totally not on schedule whatsoever. And my apologies to that. We're going to do top 5 baits tonight. I'm going to go ahead and talk about the best baits for me this week now that I've been back on the water every day. And also going to do a little poll. I want to put some questions to you guys and get some feedback on what y'all think about some video ideas for this next week. So, was that 7:30 Pacific time? Yes, it was 7:30 Pacific time, Frisco, Texas, man. That's exactly what I meant by that. Took long. Man, hey, players mess up all the time, Craig. So, I mean, I keep them clean, though. I keep them clean. So, all right, well, let's start with baits. And this is a fun one right here. And I got to give a shout out to my boy Ronnie Kelly, who clued me in on this earlier in the week, and it has worked phenomenally every day since. But the old Zoom Horny Toad is getting some good bites around grass, and it doesn't even matter whether it's cloudy or early or midday or whatever. It's working right now. So if you can find some active fish around grass and see activity, see a little bit of bait getting blown up on the surface, you can catch them on a Zoom Horny Toad. So that's really good. Then we got the old Wacky Worm. This is without a doubt my most dependable day in, day out item in my boat. Is the Wacky Rig Trick Worm, watermelon candy. I've also been using watermelon seed with a chartreuse tail. So, yeah, that's probably the most dependable bait. And that other one, the Horny Toad, is really dependable as long as you see active fish. Whoa, this room is not big enough for some of these longer rods. Then we got this bait, which you guys saw in the big 100-pound video, but the Mag Crawler, hashtag Big Perm, drop it in the comments, on a shaky head. But now we're going to more of a traditional shaky head with this big worm on it. This is a 1/4 ounce, 6-inch Divine shaky head, a lot smaller shaky head. I'm fishing this around. I got some people telling me the feed went down, but I'm showing a good signal, and then I don't know what happened. Did it come in? Did it go out and then come back? Let me know. Let me know what's going on the feed. Anyway, big worm on shaky head. Fishing this around docks and early in the morning on just shady main lake banks with a ledge on, which is kind of weird. So, but it's turnover. Weird things happen when there's some turnover tendencies happening. Also, same time, I didn't bring it in, but this is a shaky head with the big worm on it. Also a 1/4 ounce Texas rig with a baby brush hog we're also using. So that's watermelon seed, using all kinds of greens right now, which is typical when you're fishing finesse baits and fishing slow. And then one that's kind of fun, and one that'll be here probably for a while. Gold Chrome 6-cents Quake 70 is catching fish in the grass. This one's pretty dependable day in, day out too. We didn't catch them on this today, but this has been one of my more dependable baits. So those are definitely my top 5 baits. Fishing this around creek channel edges where there's grass. Somebody said, what's my most dependable frog right now? I'm throwing a Zoom Horny Toad around the grass when I see active fish. When I see fish chasing or blowing up bait on the surface, this catches every one of them right now. It's really, really good. Zoom Horny Toad. What pound line am I using for all that? Well, let's see. On the Wacky Worm, I'm using 12-pound line right now. On the lipless crankbait, I'm using 30-pound braid. On the frog, I'm using 50-pound braid. On the shaky head and the Texas rig, I'm using 20-pound fluorocarbon. Just a weightless EWG hook. So on the horny toad, the best way to fish it is going to be with an EWG weightless hook. I'm using a 4/0 EWG hook, and I'm just reeling it just fast enough to keep it on the surface and keep the legs kicking. Slow as I can go and still keep it on top and keep the legs going. It's just a single hook. We've answered all the fishing questions. So what I want to know, guys, is I actually, wouldn't you know it, as you start getting back in the swing of things, it's like any of you guys, you go on vacation, and when you get back to work, it's like, man, things just don't go right? That's just the way it goes. So on the day that I was supposed to film earlier this week, it actually rained all morning. Like, not rain, but drizzled all morning at Fork, and could not get good footage. Tried to do a little bit. There was water constantly. You couldn't see anything. I couldn't use the mic, and the rain was, you couldn't, the audio was terrible. So I basically got nothing on the water filmed this week, of course. So I'm going to shoot some videos from my house tomorrow, my day off the water. And I was wanting to know, I was thinking about doing a boat organization video or map study video. Give me you guys' thoughts on something you'd like to see that I can do here from the house that you would be interested in. I know y'all have liked the map study ones in the past. Does anybody want to see how I set my boat up and organize all my tackle to keep things efficient on the water? Map study, got one for map study, that's good. When fishing around grass, does it matter if bait are present, too much bait? I'm not one that, I don't think you can have too much bait. I think maybe that can make you have to go to more of a reaction bite type of situation if there's too much bait. But there's no such thing as too much bait. And yes, it matters if bait's present. I have to have bait wherever I'm fishing, whatever I'm fishing, unless it's the spawn. Got map study, map study, map study. You guys like map study? Well, you know, how about we just do both? And we'll do a map study and a boat organization video, because we got one for boat organization now. And we'll try to do both. And those will be our videos this week. Map study for fall and winter. I like it. We'll do that for sure. Somebody asked up here something about where can I expect to see fish in mid-October in Fork. They're going to start kind of splitting. There's going to be some that are going to migrate and do their shallow thing, and they're going to fall shad around and all that up shallow. And then there's going to be some that start getting really big groups. The biggest offshore schools of the year happen in October, November, and that can be a lot of fun as well. So there's two different groups, and I would encourage you to check out the chip that just got put up for sale today, the September-October version of the Guide and the Graph chip. We also have the Tournament Series chip that will be coming out. If you're a tournament fisherman, we've got one that's coming out. As soon as the Sealy Outdoors tournament is over, we'll be releasing one for the Berkeley, and that sucker will be loaded with, you know, stuff for October. So, because that tournament's October 20th. So, a couple different options to help you find fish in October, but they will definitely split. You'll have some offshore, you'll have some shallow, and those map chips are going to help you find both. Another one for boat organization. Buzzy Keller. I do not know Buzzy Keller, but look, I'm terrible with names, so it's possible that I've met and I do know Buzzy Keller, and I just don't remember the name because I'm awful with names. Map study, boat, map study. Nice, boat, map study. Alright, so we're going to do both, map study and boat, because there's people wanting to see both. So I will shoot both tomorrow. Can I buy your chip in person when I come on the guide trip? Yeah, we can get you one. There's actually a store around here that sells it. So either way, whether you buy it from me, you buy it from a store, we'll get you one on your trip. No problem. What is my approach when fishing around matted grass? That depends on what time of year it is. Depends on the type of bait they're eating, how that bait is behaving. There's just a lot of variables for me to say what's my approach. The first thing that I want to do is find bottom contours within that matted grass. If I have a lot of matted grass, it's really overwhelming. I've got to find creek channel swing. I've got to find a point. I've got to find a hump. I've got to find bottom content change, hard to soft, whatever it may be. I've got to find something different amongst that massive amount of grass is my very first thing that I got to figure out. So I hope that helps you. I have no idea what your name is because it's in, is it Japanese? I think that's Japanese, but I have no idea what your name is. I'm sorry. Joe's your name. That's a lot of symbols for Joe. Chinese. I'm sorry. I know that's a bad mistake. I apologize. Chinese. Okay. Chinese Joe. Got you. It's Joe though. I got it now, man. I apologize for that. I assume the wow is because I said Japanese when it's Chinese. That's my bad, man. I'm sorry. I know that's a big deal. It's hard to see those little symbols on this little screen. I'm just looking on my phone. So, all right. If you guys have any more fishing questions, man, pop them in there. Let me know. Signal, come back. Come back, Signal. Don't fade away. It's coming back. There it is. We're back. Do I think flipping pads will work next month? Okay, so kind of relating to the grass mat. You got to pay attention to bottom contours more than anything else. Pads can work if they're in the right place, and then there's pads that are dead. It's like anything. There's so much cover on a lake like Fork. The whole lake's full of timber, brush, whatever. There's a lot of area, big portions of the lake that has different grass, be it pondweed, alligator weed, hydrilla, coontail, lily pads, just all kinds of stuff. So, that being said, those fish have endless options of cover, both shallow and in between and deep with the timber. You got to pay attention to the bottom contours. It's okay to want to fish lily pads, that's fine, but you got to find the lily pads that have the creek channel swinging up next to it, or they got a point running out underneath them, or it's always about finding the bottom contours that correlate with the type of cover you're trying to target. That's the big deal. What color lipless crankbait? The best color lipless crankbait for me has been gold chrome, the 6 Sense Thud, or I'm sorry, 6 Sense Quake series, not the Thud, just the regular Quake. And gold chrome is the one I'm catching them the best on right now. And be sure to punch in that code, your Lake Fork Guide, for a 10% discount on all orders at 6centsfishing.com. Do we got any, what's that guy's name? What's the puppet guy's name? Jeff Dunham. Any Jeff Dunham fans watching this? That guy's hilarious. I love that guy. Somebody had asked me... So we got the pads. Is grass better when it's windy? I like scattered grass when it's windy and matted grass when it's calm. Go shoot a video in Whitney? Probably not going to happen. That's a long ways from, that's the other side of both of them cities from me. But if I ever have a reason to get out that way, I'll go to Whitney. What is my favorite buzzbait to use? Rowdy Buzz. They sell them at Lake Fork Marina. It's the ones that hit the head. The blade bounces off the head when you use them. I like that one the best, probably. I also like a Zorro buzzbait. That's just a pretty good, just regular old kind of more subtle, quiet buzzbait. But I like those head knocking ones on Fork, man. I like them to get I like them to make a lot of noise and get a big reaction from big fish. What do you think about the new Shad Scales color from 6 Sense? I think it's really good. I like it. It's got a little shininess to it, reflectivity. I think that works well on bright days. I like it for really bright skies cranking. Now, in shallow water cranking, I don't think it matters when they're deep. When they're deep, I don't think they're going to see any of that reflectivity. But I think shallow water cranking on a shiny day, I think that Shad Scales pattern is a phenomenal, brand new kind of a new take on how to color a crankbait. In all honesty, it looks really sharp. Mojo, yeah, we a little bit late, Mojo. What's up, big dog? What you out there chasing all them wild women over there in Fort Worth? I know what you doing right now. When can we expect the turnover? Man, a lot of the turnovers already happened. There might be a little bit more to come, but I think the majority of the turnover has already taken place, honestly. If a few weeks ago, the water temps dropped dramatically when we had all that rain and had some cooler temps, some cold mornings, and I know most of Fork already turned over. May do a little bit of another one because it's gotten hot again. But best hollow body frog for matted grass, I like the Spro 65 popping frog. If I was going to take a trip to Fork later this year, what month would you suggest for targeting a new PB? November. November can be really, really good. I like November a lot. If you're just wanting a giant fish, December is probably your best bet. December, January, February, those cold months are great for catching giants. You might, there's days that time of year where you might only catch a few fish, like 3, 2, whatever. But you catch some really big fish in December, January, February. Do I think we're actually going to get a fall this year? Well, here's the deal on that, Mojo. Like, those dudes that are, like, paid a whole lot of money to predict the weather, they suck at it really bad, so I'm not even going to try, bro. I got no chance. I just go. Deal is, people ask me about different weather stuff and this and that all the time. And what's funny is I used to worry about it too and try to predict it and what's going to happen and this and that. Then you start fishing every single day, and you get to a point where like you don't care. It doesn't matter because you just got to show up to the lake every day and try to catch them. So I don't even honestly think about weather anymore. I just show up and what's today doing, and let's try to figure them out today. And that's kind of just how I go about it. Chatterbaits or spinnerbaits for this time of year? Chatterbaits, no doubt. Am I a jig guy? Oh, yeah. You got about a month and a half, 2 months max, and you're going to see a lot of jigs on this channel. It'll be in the top 5 baits every week. I love to fish a jig, and I fish it religiously in the cold time of year. I think I caught up. How do you tell if a lake is turning over? It's obvious. When a lake turns over, it's obvious. The water all of a sudden will get to be a brown color, like a significant color change in the water color to a dingier, dirtier brown. There will be bubbles. The bubbles, there's always some bubbles on the surface of the water as boats drive through and all that, but the bubbles will stay all day. They just don't go, the bubbles never go away. These frothy, nasty looking bubbles. There'll be debris floating on the surface a lot of times. Just the general nastiness, stagnant looking appearance of even main lake water is sure enough telltale that it is turning over. Could I do another video on making your own jigs? We could do that. We've got a couple that we're going to for sure do this week. And then sometime in the future I will try to do another video on making your own jigs. What's my favorite all year lure or jig and color? Oh, gun to my head, I gotta pick one. For years I used to say it's just the stick bait, which I don't fish that much anymore, but it will catch fish in all conditions. But I think I'm gonna go with a 3/8 ounce white chatterbait. Probably my number one bait, day in, day out throughout the year. 3/8 ounce white chatterbait. And I'm using a 5-pack. Hey, now, it is late on a Saturday night. We might have had a 5-pack. I don't know. I'm using a 5-inch impact shad as my trailer. I just started using, so this is a question. Just started to use a 12-inch worm on shaky head, having some issues getting hooked up on the fish. Is there any tips on increasing my hookup with that setup? Well, you need to find a shaky head with the biggest hook possible if you're going to throw a 12-inch worm on it. So that's why I like the 6-inch shaky head, which is the 5/8 ounce one, which has a 7/0 hook. That's as big a hook as you'll find in any shaky head out there. That's a big deal when you're throwing a 12-inch worm. That'd be my first suggestion. Now, if you're using that one, man, and you're having problems getting them hooked up, either you might need to downsize. It might be too much worm for the fish that you're targeting. or you just got to let them chew it. But I think you probably need to downsize your rig if you're already using a really big hook. If you're using that really big hook, downsize. If you haven't been using that really big hook, use that really big hook. That should help. Well, Mojo, your question is a good question. It's a complex question. It's a hard one to answer. At about what temp do you think the bass will be in the very back of the creeks the last days before they go back out deep when it gets too cold? So there's a lot of them fish that don't go back out. There's a lot of those fish that are already back there. That's one of the myths is that people think, well, all the fish are out here, all the fish are out. Guys, there's always fish shallow. There's always fish deep. Always. It's just when you have higher percentages. So to answer that question, the best way I think I know how is, number one is I want to say that keep an open mind. There's always shallow fish. There's always deep fish. Number two is what water temp do they go back out? I don't. As it gets in the low 60s, probably is when I start to see less fish up shallow and more fish going back deep or getting in the creek channel swings where I like to start hitting them with that jig. I think the low 60s is probably that number, 62. For sure, once it gets below 60, I feel like there's a lot of them moving out when it gets in the high 50s. That's probably the best answer I can give you on that, bud. Will the convict swim bait be good to use next month? Absolutely. I throw the convict every October on fork. Do I have a favorite cove in Lake Fork? Used to be no name for me. I don't. I definitely have some areas that I tend to stick to, and man, there's so many good ones on fork though. I'll probably fish Birch more than I should just because I've always fished it since I first started going there, and I really like it. It's been really good to me over the years. I like Glade a lot. It's the two most popular creeks on the lake, Birch and Glade. Man, I don't. I fish a lot of stuff. I'll fish all the way up Lake Fork Creek. I'll fish Little Mustang. I'll fish Little Caney, Running Creek, Coffee Creek, Long Branch, Bell. You know what? Scratch that. The answer is Bell Creek. Well, until earlier this year, my biggest fish ever and my client biggest fish ever both came out of Bell Branch. So my favorite's Bell Branch, for sure. I've caught some big ones in Bell Branch. Go-to trailer for a football jig. I like that Smash Crawl by Smash Tech, man. His baits just have such good action on them. Rage Crawl would be another really good one, but gun to my head, I'm probably going to pick Smash Crawl over the Rage Crawl. Might be a little biased, though. But they're both really good. Somebody said, all right, hashtag rest in peace, Bell Branch. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know if I got that much influence, but that'd be cool if I did. That'd be cool to think that I had that much influence. Best hook to use on a 7-inch hollow body swim bait. Well, you're going to need a weight on a hollow belly. It's not like the big convict where you throw weightless. You're going to have a weight, so you're going to get a weighted hook. I throw the 6-inch hollow belly from Smash Tech, and I throw an 8/0 Owner Beast with a 3/8 ounce belly weight on it. That one will probably work for your 7-inch hollow belly as well. If not, step up to a 10/0, which is going to make you have, I think, at least a 1/2 ounce weight on the 10/0 Owner Beast. There you go. Best color for the jigs, Grass Mutant or Crawfish Drone. God, I like both of those colors. I probably like Grass Mutant a little bit better. You could go. I mean, that is between Grass Mutant and Crawfish Drone on the 6-inch jig colors. I'm like 51% one, 49% the other. Like it's that close. But you're making me choose, so I'm probably gonna say Grass Mutant. Do I think building the plant on the lake affected the fishing? You talking about the water, where they suck the water out? Yeah, sure, it affects the fishing. Every time they turn that pump on, it goes sucking water out of it. But, I mean, that's what it's for. It's part of it. It's not a big deal. Just as far as do I think it, like, negatively affected them because of the construction, or do I think that it negatively affects fishing because when they suck water? No. I mean, it just creates a water dropping scenario. Nature does the same thing every August. Just look at what's gone on the last month. That pump ain't been on, Jack. That's Mother Nature sucking that water out. Mosier's pie still the best in the world. Man, we want. All right, so let's get into pie, because if you guys ever go, I can talk about pie. Now you're on my subject. You're speaking my language now, my brother. When you go to Lake Fork Marina, that restaurant Tiffany's, I would defy anybody to go have the chocolate icebox pie with all them cookies crumbled up in it and all that, and that cookie crumbled up in that crust. I defy you to go eat the chocolate icebox pie at Tiffany's and tell me there's a better pie out there. There's not. There's not a better pie in the world. Not the city, the world, Craig. But that's my opinion on pie. Chocolate icebox at Tiffany's. That's responsible for at least 20 pounds of my overweightness. I'm just telling you right now. That stuff's good. But it's heavy. It's real rich and real heavy. You got to be careful eating that on a hot day. If you're going back out fishing, you can't eat it. You got to be done for the day. You can't go back fishing after you eat that, because it'll weigh you down. You won't feel like getting up out that seat. Is that where we will eat lunch? Usually, most days I eat lunch at Tiffany's. Sometimes we eat at Oak Ridge. Peg or no peg on my Texas rig that I'm using right now, I'm not using a peg at all. I peg it when I'm fishing heavy cover. Right now when I'm fishing a Texas rig, I'm just kind of fishing shady early morning banks with a ledge on them. So, that's that. I guess we're going to go ahead and wrap it up, man. We've been on here about 30 minutes, so made it without getting kicked off of the signal, so we might as well quit while we're ahead, right? Hey, man, I appreciate you guys joining me late on a Saturday night. I will definitely get those video suggestions done. That'll be what you will see next week on the channel, and I hope those top 5 baits help you. Hope we answer some questions that'll help you, and appreciate each and every one of you guys, man. Thank y'all so much, and we will see y'all next time right here. Y'all know where, on your Lake Fork Guide.